Welcome back to 5 Minute Mechanic. Today we are going to tighten down the nut here on this carburetor, and then we're going to reroute this spark plug wire because it is currently catching on that throttle linkage and we do not want that. And then we'll see what else we get time for. Try and get a socket down on this, maybe. Maybe it'd be easier to do the spark plug wire first. Sorry, it's very windy and we've had jets flying over, so I don't know how the sound's gonna be. Before I started recording these videos, I had just gone through and finally put in new spark plug wires, or spark plugs. The wires were pretty new, so I didn't replace those. But I do have a set right here. We'll probably save those for another time. Sorry for the bouncy camera. So I've got the plug wire removed. Put something here to kind of block that, so reduce the risk of anything falling down inside there. And then I will drop this socket in there, maybe. When I was a kid, I got my first Corvair. Well, it was my first car. And my dad helped me get it, and it barely worked. It was the purple car that was originally an Evening Orchid, but when I got it, it was multiple colors of primer gray with a beat up interior and black bucket seats out of an old, I believe it was an old Mercedes, might have been a BMW. And that car would foul a spark plug every 5 miles or so. So I couldn't make it to work and back without having to get pulled over on the side of the road. I believe it was this number 6 plug, but I forget. Sorry, I shook the camera. And I would get a tool in and I'd pull it out and I had a wire brush and I would clean it. And then I'd get to work and normally I could make it home. But definitely it was an odd issue to have. So I have that carb nut tightened down. Remove this cover. And I'm just gonna reroute this through the vacuum line, I think. Right here, if it will. I'm gonna be careful with this choke because it is definitely very old. And the vacuum hose didn't seem like it was gonna come off either direction. So, there we go. Work that through there. And I'm hoping that that kind of gives some direction to the plug wire. Snap it on, felt the pop. And on a Corvair, it's very important to make sure that these rubber boots on the plug wires are snug and secure all the way around. I'll show you with one of these others. They have a large boot on them that helps the air-cooled portion of the engine continue to work. So you need to make sure this seal goes around the engine shroud to ensure the air cooling capabilities are as good as they can be. It's definitely an interesting setup. Again, as I've said before, I don't have a lot of experience with other vehicles that are older, but I do with these quite a bit. When I was a kid, I probably pulled my engine out of my car about 20 times. I got to where I could do it in less than 2 hours by myself. So, all right, I still need to figure out what this is, so I probably need to do a quick Google search at some point, because I don't know what this setup does or if I have that connected correctly. And I need to get back underneath and take a look at what's going on over there down in with the throttle rod, accelerator rod. We will probably prime the engine, if you will, just with turning the crank a little bit just to get some oil pumping, because it has sat for a couple of years. Maybe should do an oil change, I guess. I had one just before it sat, but it has been sitting for 4 years at this point, all for a pretty simple issue. So hopefully we can resolve that. Okay, well, thanks for joining me on 5 Minute Mechanic, and hopefully you can take 5 minutes and work on your project today.